Hello, and welcome back to the final week in this scene coloring breakdown series here on the Sweet November Stamps YouTube channel. I'm Amy, and I am the co-owner and illustrator of Sweet November Stamps. And we have been working diligently for the past several weeks on this very comfy, cozy Christmas kitchen scene featuring Mrs. Claus from the Cup of Cheer stamp set, as well as some accessory images from the Sugar and Spice stamp set, and that window from the older Simple Room Autumn add-on background builder set, all from Sweet November Stamps. I've stamped them using Memento Tuxedo Black on Copic X-press It cardstock, which I've got cut down to the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 A2 size card base. And today we are going to be wrapping things up. First, we're going to be working on the bowl and the little bag of flour or sugar and the little cookie cutter that's on the counter. Looks like she's, just taking a little tea break before she dives into some Christmas cookie baking. And so I am going to pull out an E61, and I'm just going to dot in. I'm going to stipple in just some little dots on this bag of flour. And then I'm going to deepen that with a little bit of W. Probably W3 or 4. We'll go 3. Again, just stipling in. The key is going to be leaving some of that white cardstock showing, but it'll give it enough dimension that it doesn't look flat in comparison to everything else that we're coloring. All right, she's also got this little scoop for her flower. I'm going to color with some E31. And some E34. So the inside of that scoop I'm going to make darker. We're going to darken it up even more with some E44. Just like so. There we go. And I'm not going to worry about blending back down or anything. It's such a small image. By working quickly, those colors are going to meld together enough to give me a smooth look on those. I'm going to come in with a C2, and we'll do a silver cookie cutter. And the key to making it look metallic is going to be leaving some white. So most of that top of that cookie cutter, I'm going to leave white. And I'm just going to build most of my shading down on that kind of ridge, the edge of it. Just a hint under the little handle, but that's it. And then I'm going to call that good. Again, super tiny image. I'm going to really restrain myself, hold back from putting too much color down because I don't want to lose the contrast and have it go flat. And then we've got her mixing bowl here. And I think on that, let's go ahead and stick with, we've been using the C's, on her little teacup and everything. So we'll do that too, and we'll add a little bit of a color and pattern to it. But for now, I want a base. Just to kind of help create the round look. I'm going to bring up, and then on the inside of that bowl, we'll go a little heavier down low, like so. I'll come in with a C2. And then a C1. Okay. Her bag of flour. Let's go ahead and make it a green bag just to get a little bit more green over there on that side of the card. We'll start this green combo with G43. And G46. I'm just adding these darker colors anywhere where with those artist drawn lines are kind of showing the little bends and bulges in that fabric there. Let's see. I think I'm going to come in with a little bit of BG93. Just to kind of gray up slightly. And finally back to that G43 we started with. Yeah, I like getting a little bit more green over there. Just reinforcing some of these little bulges a little bit more with a little bit more contrast. And I'm not going to bother like blending out this last little pass because it's pretty wet that I'm working on, so it's going to kind of blend out on its own. And by getting that green on there too, now that white flower is, really looking a lot lighter and standing out too. All right, so I think we'll go ahead and do the background in that window while, before I put any patterning on the mixing bowl and stuff. So now we're going to pull out some blues. So we're going to have a snowy scene out there since they're up at the North Pole. And I'm going to grab, let's see, BG. We'll start with the 000 just to map out where my sloping snowy hillsides are. So I'm going to have them start here. So it'll be sky from here up. So just filling in that space above. All right. Now I'm going to come in. Let's try some B52. And just start sketching in. I'm leaving, some space for some kind of wintry little wispy clouds skittering across the sky. Now I think I'm going to see what we get when we add some BG72 into this mix. Kind of, going for overcast, snowy, because I am going to be dotting in some snowfall out here to really sell the whole winter Christmas theme of the card. So I want to get it kind of dark and overcast so we really see that snowfall once we start putting it in there. And so that BG72, even the B52, they both have a bit of gray tone to them, which makes them really nice for this kind of stormy winter sky, kind of that slate blue sky look that I'm after. And we'll go another pass of that BG triple. So even my clouds have color to them. I'm not leaving them stark white. I didn't want them white and fluffy and happy. I want them kind of heavy with color. Even though it's a very light color, that BG triple is not a very dark color. But by not leaving them stark white, they do look a little bit stormier that way. Okay, we're going to add color to our snow as well, but I want to get some pine trees in there first. So I'm going to do that with, let's see, I think, let's do some BG96. And we'll have, I think maybe even we'll have one growing pretty close to the house. So we'll have it nice and big here. So it's going to be taking up a lot of the space over here on the left-hand side of that window. And we'll even have it come and kind of end right about there. We'll have the snow kind of stop it at the base there. Okay. And then let's do some that are a little bit further away. Over here. This is a great way we're getting more green into our scene. So we'll have that nice kind of, that little visual triangle of, our eye searching for patterns. And here it'll find these groups of green to kind of hop between. So we've got a little tree off in the distance there, and we'll do one right next to it that's a little bit taller. I have so much fun. I love creating little scenes outside of windows. They're just a simple, easy little touch, and it just really does, that, and it pushes the interest back, so you got that really far background, then you got your midground and your foreground, and it just is a lot of fun to play with and create. There, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to come in next. The background ones, let's see. Let's maybe add in a little bit of that G46 we've been using. Just to add a little bit more green and a little tiny bit of contrast. We don't want too much because we want these to look a little less distinct because they're further away. But we want a little bit. We don't want them to be super flat. So there we go. And then on this tree that's closer to us, I'm going to come at it with the BG99. And add in some more detail work on it. With these really light brush strokes, just feathering in. Kind of like when you're doing hair. It's really nice, fine, tapered brush strokes. There we go. Okay, so now that I know where my trees are, now I know where I want to put my shadows in on that snow. We're going to use the same colors we did as in the sky. So I've got that B52 out. And I'm just going to drop a shadow back behind our tree there. And then we're going to have some back here. And that's good. Okay. Also, actually, while I have that out, I also just want to create kind of a little dip in the snow here that kind of runs, just to break up all that white a bit. Okay. BG72, like we did up in the sky, just deepening that shading a bit. Okay. I'm going to bring in on the snow down here some BG70. It's very light. It's got some that same gray tone to it that the BG72 does. It's just going to help me kind of fade these shadows out to the white of the snow a bit more. Some of the BG triple that we used up in the sky. Like so. And just reinforce some of that 72 a little bit now. There we go. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. A little bit more of that 70 through here. Okay, there we go. Now, decisions. We got our mixing bowl and her little glass, her teacup there. I think we'll go with the green again. And I'm gonna do, I think we'll start with a little bit lighter, brighter YG21. I'm just gonna do the lip of that bowl in a green, and we'll do a little stripe of green on her teacup there. And some G43 again. And let's see. I could go back to the 46. I don't know if I want to go that dark on it though. I'm going to try 24 and see if it's enough. Yeah, I think that'll do the trick. And then just we'll do another coat of the 21. Cute. Okay. All right. So finishing touches we're ready for. First, let's pull out a gold. So I've got this Pear Blossom Press gold gel pen. And I'm just going to do a couple of knobs. So just circles on our cabinets here. And then for the drawers, I'm going to do long, narrow rectangle shape. And like I said, you could do this, you know, with the Copic markers if you wanted different color. You would just kind of have to think of them ahead of time and probably color them in first and then color your cabinetry around them. Just match them up as best I can. Fill that in. Close enough. And then we want to do the same over here. So put it in. And I just thought gold, you know, would look nice with the Christmas red and green. Seems to stay with that whole traditional Christmas kind of color scheme. Okay, so we got our drawer pulls. She has this little button. I'll go ahead and do a little gold button on her dress there. All right, so that's all the gold accents I think I need. Oh, she has these little buttons on the shoes here. I'm gonna do that while I have that out. All right, so now I'm gonna get my Sharpie extra fine white water-based pen. And I'm going to use it on the flower, in the lighter areas of the flower, just to kind of bump back up the whiteness of that against the shading that we added. Just dotting some in there. I'm also going to give her catch lights in her eyes Helps bring her to life a little bit more. And then we're going to do our snowfall from that snowy day that's happening outside. And I'm just going to start dotting that in, filling it up. The more dots you add, the more snow it's going to look like it's falling. You know, so if you got a real blizzard going on out there, you pack those little dots nice and close together. If you want it more of just a little gentle snowfall, you do them further apart and less of them. I'm going for a pretty decent snowfall. Oops, I got a little bit on my window pane. That's okay. I can take my black pen after it dries and kind of knock that back into the background. Right over those trees and everything to really make them, immerse them into that background scene. Okay. Now, let's see, what else did I want to do? Oh, I know. I've got to go back to that gold gel pen because I wanted to add a little bit of gold stitching along the edge of her cap. So I'm just tracing the artist drawn line. Really enhance that ruffle in a pretty way. Okay, like that. Oh, and she had the little button on her sleeve there. I think I might even add a touch of the stitching along the bottom hem of her dress. It'll look good, plus I got a little bit of red into that green, so it hides that nicely too. All right, like that. All those little accents are playing really well. Now, I've just got that curtain and I want to add a little something to it. So I think I'm going to go with, I've got my Copic Spica. It's a red glitter pen called Lipstick. And I am going to add in some little trio of dots here and there. Now remember, we want to play up, you know, kind of the bends and folds in the fabric, so you're not always going to see every single part, or some of them might go a little like flat and not super round, depending on where they're kind of landing within that pleat. And so we're just doing kind of tone on tone, little red berries to give those curtains a little bit more interest. You could do this if you don't have a glitter pen. You know, just take one of your darker red Copic markers and do the same thing. I just like that it's adding a little bit of sparkle to the print as well. Okay, and then we'll do this guy over here. I'm just going to keep adding these little trio of dots till I feel that it fills up that space nicely. All right. And now I'm going to grab a green one. It's olive green. Nice dark green. And we'll just, I think, just simple little kind of diamond shapes here and there. Up the festive factor in Mrs. Claus's kitchen. And you'll see a little bit of one here on that fold, the tip of one there. That one got a little big, but oh well. Like I said, they're not the star of the show. Just as long as the pattern reads, I'm not going to stress out about it. Okay, I like that. So we just got to add a few over here. Get another one here. Maybe one down here. Getting close. Almost done. Just don't want to skimp on those finishing details. There we go. That's looking pretty cute. I think I will, though. One more thing. I'm always fussing with it. I'm going to go back to that white gel pen. I just want to add a little bit of white to each of my little berries, just to give them a little shine, and they'll stand out a little bit more. I like that. I like that. Little touch of white just makes that print pop that much more. There we go. How cute is Mrs. Claus's kitchen? And Mrs. Claus herself, of course. Can't forget about her. She's looking pretty sweet, sipping on her Christmas tea there. All right, I think I'm just going to quickly finish up this card, put a sentiment on it, and show you how that comes together. Hang on just a second. All right, so as you can see, I die cut out the scene. I heat embossed this sentiment, Sugar and Spice, Make the Holidays So Nice, from the Sugar and Spice set that we got our little kitchen accessories from. And I realized after getting this on the card base that there was one last little finishing touch that I forgot to do after I added the hardware on our cabinets, is to really help make them look less flat. You want to, once you put them on, go back in with your darkest. In our case, it was the E18. And I'm just going to add a little drop shadow under both of those little pulls, as well as our little handles here. And it's just a simple little line, but it makes a world of difference in really making them look like a part of that cabinet. So there we go. Now I think we can officially call this card complete. Thank you so much for joining me over the last few weeks as we have created this Christmas scene. As we near the actual Christmas holiday itself. Luckily, we wrap this up before the big day. And then, yeah, hopefully you'll come back to join me for the next scene coloring breakdown series. That will be starting up soon. And I just realized my little stray snowflake that I want to push. So I got my black multi-liner and I just trace over it. I had one down here, and that's going to help so they don't look like the snow is on the inside of the house. Okay, now officially done. I know, I keep fussing. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And stay crafty, my friends. Bye.